two SoCal League student-athlete alumni, Rae Finchamp and Brady Kiss, both at Lindenwood University in Missouri. Hannah, expecting to graduate this spring, and the other is now the assistant coach of the cycling team. We talk about their past experiences in the SoCal League and their future after college.
You, Hannah, so you said you made the transition to mountain bike, dabbling in cyclocross, of course. Yes. But what is it? Was it you decided to make that decision? Does it have an influence on what you plan on doing after graduation?
I plan on mountain biking after graduation. That is, I'm coaching a little bit on the side. I've started coaching some athletes, but other than that, this is the time of my life where I can go all in, and so I'm taking the leap and I'm giving myself the chance.
Great. So the cyclocross. So first of all, why don't you tell me about, let's go back to SoCal. Actually, I guess we go back because your SoCal championships coincided pretty much the same years you were Xterra champion, right?
That would sound right, yeah.
Okay. And then at Lindenwood, you're now 2 years collegiate for cross country, is that right? 2 or 3?
I won cross country twice, and then I won short track twice, and they layered. And then I won cyclocross once.
Okay. Is everyone going to be okay over there?
Yeah.
Let's go back and talk about your time then. What was your team that you were on when you were racing to high school? What school were you?
So I did the San Gabriel composite team for 2 years, and then tried to start a team at my high school. We gained a couple people, and we had a team for a year, but it's definitely tough to start it up. I think that makes the programs a lot more quality, but it was a challenge to try and start at my high school.
Okay. But throughout your seasons in the league, you were on a composite team minus the 1 year that you were at your own school on a team.
Correct.
You were never independent, and you were on UKIPA the whole time. So you guys had a slight overlap. Did you guys know each other because you were both varsity racers, right? You had a 1 year overlap or 2?
I think 1. I didn't really I knew who she was because she was just winning and she's awesome, but we didn't know each other. We weren't friends or anything.
It was more so just when I came to Lindenwood, someone said, "Oh, Brady Kiss is on the team. He was with UKIPA," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I think I know the name." It was that kind of know each other.
Okay. So do you guys have any great fond memories, stories or trials or any tough moments when you were in the SoCal League? Let's start with you, Hannah.
Oh gosh. Okay, you want a great story?
Yeah, anything. If you come, anything in your experiences. If you just want to share about your experience,
Yeah, I'll do both. I think the high school league was an incredible experience for me, and a different experience, which is really cool because I think while most people, that's one of their first introductions to competitive sports, for me, it was not even close. And so when I came to the SoCal League, it was a breath of fresh air because I was now in a place where it was all my peers. I was no longer the young little girl that may or may not have something to offer. I was now an equal to everyone else. And it was the same when I came to practices, because usually when I go practice, it would either be with adults or by myself, which was, very focused. Adults just don't go play. But when I'd go with the high school team, so much of the practice was just playing on the bike, which I think is so underrated, especially now as I get older and I am aware of some of the skills that I'm lacking. I can't tell you how often I think, oh, I wish I'd learned that when I was younger. And how you get that is by playing on the bike. And that is an opportunity that the SoCal League and that the high school league gives kids, because like I said, adults very rarely just, oh, let's go turn circles in the wash or in the, it's a very unique opportunity that we get to have. So there's that. I also think it was really cool to have the female equality, because that's not something you see at a lot of adult amateur races or even professional races sometimes. And the SoCal League worked really, really hard to make females equal. And I think that sets the men up for a really great lifestyle, because the boys are at that time in their life when they're deciding how they feel about women on bikes. And when they see the equality and they see how fast the girls are at that age, they set themselves up to be that man on the trail that cheers on the women instead of holding them back minute or lap after lap on the normal courses.
I'm enjoying
For a fun story, I would say, I believe it was my second race in the league ever. I crashed on I believe it was 5 laps, and I crashed on the 3rd lap, and my seat fell off. And of all things, like, just the top portion of the seat. So I was riding on rails, and I came through the pit area. I didn't know what to do, and someone handed me duct tape. So I took the seat out of my pocket, duct taped it to the rails, and then finished the race. And of course, took the time penalty for outside assistance and whatnot. But that was just really fun, like, to have someone, like, who in a professional race is going to throw you duct tape to fix your bike? Like, it was just a really fun experience, and kind of the attitude of finish no matter what and finish with a smile.
It's super fun. I just remember all the practices with my team. We would just always be, Yucaipa's so lucky, like, in the place that they're at, because we have trails across the street from school, and they're really cool trails, actually. So we would just go out after school every day, and the group would, like, we'd all have different sizes groups. So we had a large team, especially towards the end. And it was just cool seeing so many people grow. And also, like, our school really embraced us too. I remember one year we had, like, an outdoor pep rally, and the school set up a thing where we would, like, ride in on this hill that was, like, visible from our football stadium, like, during the pep rally. And then we, like, rode a lap around the football field. So it was really cool. Just, I think it was like, yeah, I mean, it was a really cool experience. The races were super fun. There was a lot of fast guys around whenever I was racing, Zach Valdez, Casey Williams, and then one of the other guys on my team, Tucker Trotter. And also what's cool about the SoCal League is how many friends you make, and they stay, like, your friends for a long time. So those guys, every time we see each other, we always chat and try to ride together and stuff like that. So it's cool, the bonds that are made. And now, like, I also try to go back to Yucaipa and ride with the team and just see how it's even crazy big now. Like, the amount that back in 2009 we were so small, and now there's like 50-something people on the team, and it's just wild how big it's grown. And the league too has just gotten crazy big, and which is awesome to see that more and more people get the opportunity and ability to race mountain bikes. And we were out pre-riding with my team or whatever, and I had kind of gone ahead a little bit, and they had these, like, wild horses that were, like, living in this ranch area that we had this race at. And it was really cool. Just, they were, like, kind of minding their own business or whatever. But at one point they just started, like, stampeding all these horses. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But I was, like, still riding or whatever. And then all of a sudden there was just, like, a horse coming straight at me. And we were just, like, looked at each other's eyes and, like, thought, like, this is going to be bad. And so, like, as much as you could try to picture, like, a horse just slamming on brakes, like, the front feet out in front of it. And they were just, like, trying to stop really quick, and I was just, like, slamming on brakes. And that was just the wildest thing that's ever happened to me. Just a horse almost ran me over while riding at this race. But it was pretty cool.
You're right. At first, this sounds like, this is so cool. And then, all right, what do I do now?
Yeah, it was a turn of events, but it was pretty funny. I just think it's a weird story that, like, yeah, I don't know. Probably doesn't even fit into this interview, but I just like to tell it.
Any experience with horses like that for you, Hannah?
Oh, no, unfortunately not. But it sounds like it should be his spirit animal for sure.
Oh, yeah. keep on mountain first that we know of on record. Alumni from SoCal League, because we've had several alumni who return to coach at like their own teams. Now we actually have kids who are coaching other teams.
Okay.
So you're the first we know of that is now coaching collegiate level. Do you know anybody else?
No. There's not really like many people. I'm the assistant coach, so there's not very many other programs that are like large enough to have an assistant coach. And there's no one really that is a head coach. So I would have to say that there's probably no one else doing it that I can think of.
Okay. So this is like for both of you, because you've both gone to Lindenwood. You've both been in the cycling program. You're coaching now. And it sounds like you're doing some coaching yourself on the side. So, Hannah, so what kind of advice, like when it comes to these kids who are at this level or thinking about, hey, you know, because there are more and more schools that are springing up that offer scholarships in cycling. Well, do you have any advice for these kids who are considering like to go that route, and why maybe, you know, even talk about Lindenwood, like why Lindenwood would be a good choice?
First, you want me to? Okay. You go first, because I feel like I could talk about this for a while. This is like my job now, so.
Okay, then I'll keep it short. My biggest advice would be, if you're considering it, then go for it. Because there's not that many times in your life that you're going to have the opportunity to be on a team and do something like this. And one of the really cool things about collegiate cycling, so actually Lindenwood has one of the largest like schools with sports in the nation. We have so many sports teams. Name a sport, we probably have it. And we separate them into NCAA sports and student life sports. And cycling is a student life sport. And I don't think that could be a more perfect term for it, because cycling is truly a life sport. And it's the one thing that, you know, a lot of these seniors, when they play their last football game, that's it. But for us, like, we race our last mountain bike race, there is absolutely no reason that you can't continue racing. And it allows anyone who wants to do that, because just like the SoCal League, in college, there are people from all realms, from all abilities, and especially a team like ours that is pretty big, there's someone else on the team who's going to be that ability, and we'll split up rides according to that. And we really do, I believe, give everyone a fair chance and the fair opportunity to go as long, as far, and as fast as they want.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Brady's going to run away with it now.
No, that was good though. I like what you said. But some advice that I would say to students would be, number one, like, keep your grades up. That's, I would say, the most important thing. Grades are always going to take you way further than like mountain biking or any other sport, basically. Like, it's important to be smart, and grades are going to take you to school for sure. And cycling is a good like supplement to that, I think. And it's another way, like, pathway that you can take to get to school, and that helps you for sure, but the grades are really where it's at. And why I would say go to Lindenwood is we just offer a ton of support, and we have like a really good team atmosphere, I would say. Everyone on the team is really good friends with each other, and kind of like Hannah was saying, we definitely have riders of all ability levels, and that's how collegiate cycling is everywhere. So it's actually not just at Lindenwood, but they're separated into categories, and you got the most elite people at the top end, like Hannah, and then you have people that are barely starting mountain biking, but they just get this opportunity to race in college, and they want to go for it. So I think that that's a really cool aspect of collegiate cycling, that everyone's included as well.
Cool. So, it just popped in my head when you guys talking about that. So even at the collegiate level, are you guys seeing other members on the team who come in just having experience in one discipline, maybe have never experienced the mountain biking or never experienced the road biking, and have been encouraged to try them and actually do it? Do you have any teammates like that, Hannah? Or?
Yeah, very much so. From both aspects, we've had plenty of people who have come in for road and then been convinced to try mountain biking, especially more so with cross, because you can kind of recruit for both sides for that. So there's a ton of cross between disciplines, mostly because there's no penalty for trying. So when Brady, the coach, comes to you and says, "Hey, do you want to come to the cross race this weekend?" Like, why wouldn't you? It's just a great opportunity to get out and try. And then also, I've seen people come on the team who come here freshman year and don't necessarily plan on riding for the team, but maybe they've played on their bike in their cul-de-sac or down the street or jumped on trails with buddies before, and we're a pretty fun group of people. So they meet us in the cafeteria, we see them riding their bike to class, and next thing you know, they're in the C category at their first race, and they get to build the next 4 years.
Okay, did being on the school team make a difference in your day-to-day life as a high school student?
At my school, I would say kind of. Mr. Bag, he had like this little work area like behind his classroom, so I would definitely go in there and like work on my bike and I don't know, kind of like hang out with him and Mr. Kennedy, our other coach, and maybe some of the other kids on the team would be in there working on bikes. So I think it gave me like a really good community of people as well that probably wouldn't have been my friend otherwise, but we had a good time out riding mountain bikes and having a good time. So I would say that like as far as community wise, it did change my day to day. And then I was always like focused on going for riding after school and making sure I had like enough time, because a lot of times I would go maybe do like the practice and then ride a little extra or ride a little bit before and then go to practice and stuff like that. So
do you see yourself like as a coach, kind of like Coach Bag was? Because as I talk to you guys and talk to other student athletes from the league who are in the league now and have moved on, is I hear the same story about the connections they have with their coaches, and there's really good camaraderie, and even outside of like training and racing, a lot of these student athletes are actually like hanging out and doing other activities. Like I don't know if you guys know, but Seth Levy in Ramona High School, this kid is in the program with his coach. He teaches auto shop, and he's done some other cool stuff with him doing that kind of stuff. I keep hearing story after story how like it's like a family kind of thing, like within the league and the teams.
I think it's because it really takes a special person to be a high school mountain bike coach. Once you said that, I really started thinking about all the coaches that I interacted with. And then my coach was Tom Lockhart on the San Gabriel composite team, and then Joe Zambrano of Maranatha, and they shared a lot of the same just personality types, which is extreme caring, and caring on all levels of caring about the person, but also caring that we're comfortable, caring that we have the opportunity to work hard. So much caring that it almost seems cheesy to say it that way, but it's like he said, it's someone that you truly could go to for anything, whether or not you choose to. And I think that's how it affected my daily life the most, was that new knowledge that I had someone in my corner for anything.
Do you guys ever see yourself? First of all, does Missouri have a NICA league?
It does not currently, but my coach, Chris Molesky, is beginning to start one. I'm actually one of the honorary VIPs for the league, so we're pretty excited about that and hoping to get the process rolling.
That's awesome, Brady. I see you over there smiling and grinning as well. Are you going to have any involvement in that?
Yeah, definitely. So Chris Molesky, which is her current like personal coach, he was the coach of Lindenwood when I first got here. He was the one that I went through the recruiting process and everything with. So yeah, he's approached me. He's known that like that's my background as well, and so I'm going to be part of the board, I think, for the league, and hopefully, yeah, we're all really excited about it. It's going to bring like a lot of more mountain bikers to the Missouri, and I think like a lot of kids are going to enjoy it. There's tons of great riding around the state. Then hopefully it'll just raise the recruiting base for Lindenwood and for all the collegiate programs as well, because we're not just looking obviously at this state. Everyone's looking all over. So,
Hannah, you're graduating, and Brady, what's 2018 bringing?
Hopefully some more national championships here at Lindenwood. We're going to be racing hard in all disciplines. I'm really looking forward to the year. I think it's going to be really fun. Yeah, just hopefully, I mean, my eventual plan is to be a head coach somewhere, probably in the collegiate programs, because until I go back to school to get my teaching certificate, I can't be like a teacher. So, I mean, definitely, if I ever could make it back to being into the SoCal League or somehow, I think that would be awesome, like full circle kind of thing, because that's totally what got me to Lindenwood, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I'm happy with where I am, and I'm learning a ton being an assistant coach. I think that's like really important. Definitely helping me grow a lot and learn things that I'm not quite ready to be that head coach yet, but I think in a year or two time, then that's what I'll be looking for.
That's perfect. The timing sounds right. Nat, we would love to have you back in SoCal. You too, Hannah.
Yeah.
Hannah, I know your family's moved to Washington, so graduation's around the corner, and I read your blog, and it sounds like you are definitely jumping full into professional racing. Where do you see yourself going?
My plan is in May to move to Salt Lake City and train there. Perfect training, perfect elevation. And I hear they have a really big high school league. So I'm actually hoping to get involved. Not sure what capacity yet, but at minimum a volunteer. I'd love to go on some rides with the kids out there. And then I spent this whole summer in Salt Lake City, and my teammate, Haley Batten, lives in Park City also. So it was cool to connect with her and kind of get the local scoop on the trail.
Anything you'd like to pass on to SoCal student athletes?
I would say to soak it up, because now that I race professionally and collegiately and at some of these really, really high caliber races like at Worlds, sometimes I look back at high school and I wonder, wow, why did I think that, the whole world was based on that one race? Because now in the rearview mirror, it just doesn't seem that huge. But I think it was, and it is that huge. And I think that's what's so cool, because the atmosphere of SoCal League is that huge, and it is the mini Olympics for all of these kids. And I think it's okay to let it be. My advice and what I want to say is soak it up and allow yourself to let it matter that much, because it does, and it's pretty darn cool.
And I guess I would say to have fun, race your bike hard, and try to learn as much as you can while you're out there. Just take that with you, and keep on riding too, even after you stop racing or whatever. Like Hannah was talking about earlier, it's a lifelong sport, and definitely pursue collegiate cycling if you feel like it's a good fit for you. There's club teams, there's varsity teams, people get scholarships, lots of support, lots of fun atmosphere. So I would say enjoy yourself and race hard.